Sometimes you need to stop.
Mhm.
Sometimes you need to be able to reconnect with yourself.
Welcome, wonderful souls, to Holy Healing Talk with your girl April, founder and CEO of Holy Healing Chronicles. This podcast is a part of our mission to create a safe space for people to express their emotions and heal their hearts. We have amazing things happening, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, join our email list at www.holyhealingchronicles.org. We hope you enjoy the Holy Healing Talk. So let's get started. This is part 2, y'all. So good. First episode. We decided to come back for part 2. I'm sure you all would gather a lot of information from this discussion if you're watching. But Coach La, what you presented in for episode 1, it was so good. I said, we got to do a part 2. And I'm going to say, in the healing process, once you identify that something's wrong, it's going to be easy for you to identify when you need to correct that.
Yes.
It won't linger as long as it would before you start the process. See, depression is something crazy. You'll be in depression for months.
Yeah.
Sometimes years, right? But when you begin the healing process and you begin your spiritual journey, you know that I got to do this for me. You begin that self-care, self-love. You won't stay in that depression too long. See, we're still human. We're going to experience the human stuff. Just because we're becoming aligned in the spiritual realm don't mean that we're not human. You know? So we're going to experience depression, but it's going to be short lasting because we went through the process of beginning a healing process and identifying. So last week, all of this stuff started to transpire with me. I said, I'm resting, I'm cutting things off a little bit so I can focus on me. But what did that look like? When I said focusing on me, it didn't mean me laying in a bed for 3-4 days and not doing nothing, watching TV on TikTok. No. So I did that for the first few days. But then yesterday I'm like, wait a minute. I ain't put no eyebrows on today. I did my hair. Like, oh, I got up this morning. I turned on my praise and worship music, took my shower, and if I didn't do nothing but run to the Dollar Tree, that was something to change my space. You know, I get comfortable. And before I left, I cleaned up. I picked up the laundry that was sitting over there. Girl, I had water bottles on I did all of that. But just think, that was only a day, possibly 2 if I'm not mistaken. But I was able to check it right away. What is your advice to others struggling with it? Because this is, look, it is okay to have your moments. You just can't stay in them.
It is okay, right? And that is one of the issues that we have is people would say to you, hurry up and get out of that depression, or come on, let's go, right? I get it. Sometimes you need to stop. Sometimes you need to be able to reconnect with yourself, what it is that you're feeling in the inside, right? Because we have so many external voices coming towards us, or just issues that we have in our lives that we're not listening to what our bodies need. Suffering from headaches. When I get overstressed, I get the headaches, but sometimes we just don't listen. And then we get to that point of breaking down, right? Where we can no longer move, no longer function. It is okay. The most important thing that you can do in that moment is that recognition. Hold on, I know something's happening.
Yeah.
I say that because, it's in those small moments, when you're at rock bottom, you just don't even want to get up to go use the bathroom, some people. right? Some people are just it, and I've talked about it before where you're in the bathroom because you're trying to hide. That's your safe space, right? I get it. And the point there is, I just want you to be able to say, I need help. I'm having a moment. Because the minute when you do that, when you're able to verbalize where you are, you begin to take power.
Woo.
You begin to grab a hold of yourself. Now, you may not have the tools, you may not know how to pull yourself out of that situation, right? But by you recognizing and saying, I am, I feel, I need, right? When you are at that place, you begin to take your power back. In that very moment that you say that, you begin to take your power back. And I express that wholeheartedly because that's in every situation, right? That you are going to encounter. You're in a relationship, you are in your work. We talked about that previously. We are going through some situations, and not everyone's going through the same. And depression doesn't look the same for everyone, right? But the minute you begin to use those I statements, you begin to take power over, and you begin to speak power over your situation because you're recognizing that something is wrong and I need to go either into survivor mode to pull myself out of it, or I need to create a plan so that I can move on to the next step, right? That's where most of us, as we talked about before, go into those coping mechanisms. We go into that protection of what it is that I can just do in order to get through the day, right? And so once you are able to identify what's happening with yourself, right? That's when you can begin to know. I like to call it nourish because for me, I go through the acronym of INNER, right? And that is identify, nourish, nurture, empower, and revive, right? When you identify that something is wrong, that's when you can fix it. That is when you can be able to say, how can I nourish? How can I empower myself? How can I put this into a place where I can learn more so that I can become better in this moment, in this time, over a period of time, right? Because it's not going to happen overnight. But if you don't identify that something's wrong, no one else can identify it for you. And so I think it's important to stay in that, figuring out what is happening to me. What am I feeling in this moment? Because that is how I'm going to be able to determine what I need. Right?
Amazing.
And so
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think it's amazing. Like, even in your inner, in my ACR, acknowledging, and yours is identifying. Same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone does it different. I love that. I love that. I think women would appreciate that. Because I have my acknowledgement, my coping, my releasing, but just for me, like, just hearing that, like, it gives me another perspective in my healing journey on how to look at things too. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a practice that I do every day, right? That's a practice that I do constantly, is recognizing where I'm at. That's in relationships. And I say that because sometimes you can get in a relationship and you forget who you are or what it is that you're actually feeling in that moment because you're so enamored by the person that you might be in a relationship with, or you're in a business and you forget who you are. what your values are, right? And where it is that you're trying to go. And it's important to come back to, as you said, acknowledging where am I? Who am I? Asking yourself those questions so that you can get to a place where you are nourishing, so you can be able to become better, right? And as I move on from that, the nurture bit is that continuous process. That's what me and you do continuously. And that's what you've just experienced with yourself, is being able to say, I recognize there's an issue. I know how I want to fix it. Now, what is the next step? How am I going to go about that? I need rest. I'm going to take time out. I'm going to have self-care, right? And being able to speak up for yourself and setting boundaries for yourself, being able to say in your situation, as you mentioned, I need this time. Don't contact me for the next 7 days. That leads you into that place of empowerment, right? That leads you to a place where you're able to speak up for yourself. You're able to put boundaries in place for yourself because you recognize what it is that you need, right? As yourself, as you stated, I need a mental break. If you can, don't call me for the next 7 days or 6 days. Some people, as you said, we discussed it earlier, sometimes you need to log off of social media, right? You need to recognize what tips you can put in place because you become empowered. You're able to speak up for yourself. You're able to figure out what plan I can put in place because it's for me in this moment, what it is that I need to ensure that I'm moving out of survivor mode so that I can go into that thrive, right? I want to revive that happy person. I want to be free. I want to get to a place where I'm no longer feeling restricted. I'm no longer feeling like the chains are constantly holding me back, right? And that is what reviving is totally about. It is your place, it's your opportunity so that you can become this better person for yourself and for everyone around you. I have this thing I say all the time: if I'm blessed, everyone around me is blessed.
Amen.
Right? And that is because if I can be happy, I'm going to share some of that with you. And
Amen.
my prayer is that you are going to receive it so that you can share it with whoever's attached to you.
That you just said a mouthful, so I'm gonna go back because this is what I had to acknowledge, and I know a lot of working mothers and fathers. I hate to leave the men out of the mix too,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of men and women both are so consumed with working because they're afraid. They're not working like they don't have to, but they consume themselves with their businesses, with this, with that, because to not focus on that, they really, when they come to this place here, it's like that's what they've been working on all this time. That's all they know. With me, my children are of age. I have a 19, 20, 25, and 28-year-old. And I consume myself with work being a part of my survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like, we were homeless. We lived in a shelter. I felt like if I stop doing this, then we'll end up in that place again.
Right.
But I have to be careful because there's power in the tongue. No, we won't.
Mm-hmm.
God didn't give me everything to take it back. So
Yes.
I have to trust him. But in
Mm-hmm.
the mode, that's what I was thinking. When the enemy
Mm-hmm.
steps in and try to distract everything, I was thinking that. Well, now my children, we live in the house together, and it's crazy because now that I've detached and stopped consuming myself with so much work and so much this, to where now I have to look at myself. I have
Yes.
to sit in myself. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize, I didn't even know who I was. I've worked so much and endured and poured into this just to keep. I use my kids as like my kids were my joy. but they were
Yes.
also a crutch for me
Yes.
because now that they're grown and I'm in this journey, this healing journey, now I'm on a spiritual journey. My the faith journey is different than all of them combined. Do you hear me?
Yes.
But when I got in this place, I'm like, I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what
Yes.
I like. I don't even know where to
Mm-hmm.
go. That's when the anxiety kicked in real bad because I was so used as kids. You gotta go with me. Come go to the store. Come do
Yes.
that. But now they don't want to do that with me anymore. So I
Mm-mm.
gotta do it by myself. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, where am I going? Where is this part? I'm telling you, I kept something as a crutch for me to not deal with me. I didn't even
Yes.
want to deal with me because I didn't even know who I was. That's
Yes.
crazy. But
That
now,
right there is truly something no one talks about, right? What happens when us, strong women, single women, head of household, doing every single thing, but there's no one else to take care of? What do we do, right?
are you?
What do we do?
Look, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what to
Mhm.
do. It was like rebirthing.
Yes.
It was a rebirth for me
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
I had to learn me from scratch.
Yes.
I've been doing this thing since I was 17 years old.
Mhm.
I didn't know. I knew that I like to keep my little wigs done. I know I like to
Mhm.
keep, but outside, that's not self. What do I like? Now
Yes.
I can go to the movies alone. Now
Mhm.
I can go sit and have dinner by myself.
Yes.
I can
Yes.
go and get dressed and go sit at Starbucks and be okay sitting there by myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Go
Mhm.
sit at the park like I love to go shopping by myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because now I don't have my trip. You shouldn't get that. You should. I can do it by myself with no
And
one.
it's what I like.
It's what I like. So I encourage people, women and men, in your life. If you're a young adult just beginning your life and you have children, make sure you take time out for you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And until you can figure it out, I just did a video about this. If you take 5 minutes out of every hour throughout the day, that's well over an hour of self-care that you've given yourself. Whether you go sit on the toilet and you just sit there because that's a quiet place, if you
Mhm.
go in your closet, if you have small children, turn on a favorite TV show and give them something for that moment because I need 5 minutes. I
Yeah.
never did that. I never
Mhm.
took time. I never took a minute for me because I
Yeah.
felt like I'm a mom. I got to do this because if I fell at this, my kids, like that was it. But I wasn't okay.
Mhm.
So if
And
I'm not okay,
if you had the opportunity and someone told you to do that, then the trauma wouldn't have been passed on.
mm,
Right? The anger wouldn't have been passed on because there's so many mothers, right? And not to interrupt there, I do apologize, but so many mothers are just overwhelmed in that anger, in that space, in that moment that you're speaking about, right? The children are rustling to them in that moment. And what do? Snap on the child. They don't mean to, but it's because they needed 5 minutes. Had I had 5 minutes 10 years ago, had I had 5 minutes 15 years
for
ago,
real,
me and my daughter have a beautiful relationship now, but she certainly does tell me, right, quite often, she'd be like, who you was back then is not who you are now. And so I love that beauty that you are telling women, take 5 minutes, right? Being able, again, identifying, saying, in this moment, I need the space. I need this time just to step away, right? Recognizing what do I need to do. It's beautiful that you're telling women that because that 5 minutes is saving the trauma from your child, saving the trauma from the next person that we spoke about last week in the last episode about being able to, hello, I just need a moment. I'm not trying to push my trauma onto you, on this next person. I just want a moment for myself in this space.
They don't realize, and it's also breaking generational curse.
Mm-hmm.
Because if our parents would have did it with us, we probably wouldn't have experienced so much anger and all of that good stuff. So
Yes.
it's a part of breaking. You want to be the first to say, I want to break this generational curse. This is the way to do it. Like self-care. And I'm telling you, the only reason why I'm able to speak on this so like really clear today and like free and vulnerable, being vulnerable about it, because like my journey, of course, it wasn't easy. I don't do this, of course, for no sympathy. God said this is going to be used to help someone else, but I'm 46 years old. It took me 45 years to get to a place where I can actually say I'm at peace. But in my
Yes.
peace, God is still pulling back layers of me that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know that I was there.
Yes.
I couldn't even acknowledge it. So now
Mm-hmm.
this piece of anxiety is there.
Yeah.
As a strong Black woman, I wouldn't have said this was anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would have said this is people pissing me off. But guess what?
Yeah.
I would have still been trying to fix that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
not fixing me.
Yeah.
And for the first time, it took 45 years for me to say, it's time to fix me. It's
Mm-hmm.
time
Mm-hmm.
to take care of me.
Yeah.
My mental, my spiritual, I feel good. My physical, okay. But if my mental ain't good, none of that is great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I always say depression is based off of the past because you're
Yeah.
thinking about everything that you can't change and that you would change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anxiety is thinking about the future,
Yeah.
thinking about things that you're trying to change, that you want to control, you want to see the outcome. God said it ain't none of your business.
Mm.
Stay right there in your present.
Yep.
In your present.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I
Stress.
think that is the hardest part, is in the mood, just staying in the moment, right? Just staying in it, sitting in it for a moment, looking around. And I say, look around. You will be able to see the blessings that you have right here, right now, right? Looking at your family, looking at yourself, going through, and we're coming to the end of year, and many people are going to be reflecting, right? I truly believe that that reflection needs to take a turn, because most people have resentment at the end of the year, right? And that's where the depression, that's where the anxiety is going to start kicking in. So I think this is truly a good thing that we're talking about, because stop looking at it from that perspective. Find the gratitude, right? Look at, well, how far did I come? Because I got to the end. So I accomplished something. I
Something.
come to the end of this year and I have accomplished something. What did I accomplish? We sweep it underneath the rug so quickly, the smallest of things that have brought us joy. But can we honestly say for 365 days that not one thing made us smile? Not one thing made us happy? We have to be able to find those small little joys throughout the year, right? Because they're going to catapult us into the next year. Okay, I wasn't able to accomplish, I wasn't able to meet this particular deadline, but I'm still standing. I'm still here in this moment. And as you say, the anxiety of what's going to happen in 2024, what's, going to happen over the next year. I want to do this. I want to do this. This is my vision board. This is how I want my life to be. There, I just went through it the other day. I can't control it. But when you stay in the moment, take a breath, look at, this is where I'm at. These are the joys that I can be happy about in this moment. Peace comes,
Mhm.
right? It's a peace that you can't describe
I'm
because it
telling
comes, right? And I recommend to people, journal. if you have to just get the thoughts out, and if you have to burn it or rip it up right after you write it all out, then you could do that too if you're afraid about the privacy of it. But it's good just to be in the moment. Take a breath, take a deep breath, recognize where you are.
Amen. I actually said, even though I say it took me 45 years to get to this point, to acknowledge like that I've been getting in my own way.
Mm-hmm.
Once I began this journey, can I be honest with you? This is the first time in my life, and I don't know if I said it in any other videos, but this is the first time that I actually feel happy, and that I can genuinely, the smile that you see, like it's real. Like it's not
Yes.
like, this is a genuine, I haven't smiled genuinely in a
Mm-hmm.
very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
This feeling it gets a little emotional just sharing that, because I know that I'm not the only one to say I haven't smiled or been in a happy place in a long, long time. I remember
Yes.
about 5 months ago, my daughter was showing me a picture. No, she wanted a picture out of my phone of her
Mm-hmm.
because she was on a weight loss journey. And I was strolling through my pictures and I came across a picture of myself. And
Mm-hmm.
I had a pretty pink dress. And I was sitting on my porch, and I remember when I posted it on Facebook, and I posted sitting pretty, and I was
Yeah.
smiling.
Mm-hmm.
But when I saw the picture on my phone, when looking for her picture, I said, I remember this day. And I started crying
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I was so broken that day. I
Mm-hmm.
was so hurt that day because something like that was devastating to me, that broke my heart. It was another peel back of my heart of
Moment.
a
Mm-hmm.
moment with someone that I was with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we planned a date and I got really pretty, and he was gonna travel from where he was to meet me.
Right.
And I got dressed, and my kids was like, where you going? I'm like, I'm going on a date. I didn't want them all in my business. So I'm like, I'm going on a date. And they was like, wait, we gonna follow you. And I'm like, no, you won't. And I got in the car. I drove to the place where I was supposed to meet, and he never showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up going to the casino, playing the casino games. Made it home about 1 a.m. And some just said, call him. And when I called him, he was laying in his bed. And I'm like, hey, like, what happened to you? You never showed up. And he
Mm-hmm.
didn't even have any empathy. He was so cold, like, I just didn't feel like coming. I fell asleep.
Wow.
So looking at that picture, that day came up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess. It's like, now I can actually say I'm genuinely smiling.
Happy.
I'm happy from within. And
Yes.
this conversation was supposed to happen. I know it was, because I was struggling, like, prior to all of this blood pressure stuff.
Mm-hmm.
God gave me this. I have to keep reminding myself, he gave me this and he's not going to take it away.
Yeah.
But that anxiety of like, God, I got to keep paying rent over here. I got to pay my own mortgage. I got this, I got that. And then, stuff. I have another business, and my best friend and I are partners in this. And God, like, let her go. She got it. But he like, I'm giving you something else, but you trying to hang on to this. Like, she got it. Like, that's why I made you
Wow.
all part. So it was just so much, so much. And the financial part was really getting me. Not that like I can't, but like, when you taking care of multiple things, like, you got to know things are going to start like decreasing. But God said, you focused on the wrong thing. If you just trust me, it's going to be okay. I haven't left you this far. I've made everything else okay. So I just want to thank you for reminding me about this moment. Not thinking about tomorrow, just thinking about the things that I'm grateful for right now and just being here and being present.
Mm-hmm.
Be able to do this and pour into other women and tell other women and men, come. This platform is not just for me. This platform is for everyone who has a ministry, everyone who has a
Yes.
coaching business, everyone who has a testimony. Your testimony is your ministry.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to, I want more men to come on here for me. Like,
Yes.
I get so many women. I want a man to come and men have emotions,
Yes.
have feelings. Men struggles with anxiety.
And depression.
Huh?
And depression.
And depression. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
am encouraging any man that's watching this, send me a message. Go to www.holyhealingchronicles.org. Send an email. We can connect because men go through the same thing we go through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's not enough men out here to pour into each other because
Yes.
they're too busy trying to size each other up.
Mm-hmm.
Everything
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be a competition. Sometimes
Yeah.
if we just get together like this, you got a whole coaching thing that's so similar to what I'm doing over here in the United
Yes.
States. Who knows what this might do?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
even said, I'm calling all the women who got books. Let's
Yep.
take our books across the country. Let's set
Mm-hmm.
up conferences across the country and share these books, share our testimony. People need to hear it. This is called
Yes.
discipling. You're
Yeah.
creating more people. You're bringing more people to God. Like, and for
Mm-hmm.
me, that's greatness. Out of
Yes.
everything we do, God is greatness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
He's
spiritually,
getting the glory.
there you go.
He gets the glory, right?
All of it.
It's truly us getting to that place of being able to share. And
Oh,
I think that is, I keep talking about the beauty of it, but that's truly what it is, right? We heal to share. We don't heal to hold it back. We don't heal so that we don't help someone else. That's a cycle of life, right? That's truly the cycle of life is your healing so that someone else can heal and that they can pass that healing on to someone else. I love the story that you expressed and your vulnerability in that moment and sharing, we see us, we're this image to people, right, of happiness. I like being real. I'm not always happy, right? I feel emotions just like everyone else. Yes, I'm doing things that are creating happiness in my life, but there are times when, as we've discussed, I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling rejected. I'm feeling abandoned again.
say
It's
it.
not us staying in that moment. The beauty was in your situation, right? Is that you didn't allow that situation to take away and steal your happiness. You said, I'm still going to have a great time in this moment.
Mm.
Right? And that is beauty because I bet if that had happened to you maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I know it's happened to myself where someone didn't show up, and I felt rejected and I stayed in that mess for a period of time. What's wrong with me? How come they didn't want to come? All those different emotions coming up in yourself. But as you said, when you're going through that healing, as you go through that joy, as you go through that process, you come out of that on the other side, right? Because you have dealt with yourself. You know what it is that you expect. You know what it is that you want. And you can say, okay, well, I'm still going to be happy in this moment and they're not going to steal my joy. along the way, right? It's been 5 months since this situation happened to yourself. Some women are 5 months still reminiscing, going through that process of, I don't want to date anymore at all because this happened to me 5 months ago, right? And it's
You're
nothing wrong
talking
with
about
that.
the situation where he didn't show
That
up.
situation,
Oh,
yeah.
that happened in my toxic relationship. I've
Hmm.
just taken a break. That wasn't 5 months
Right.
ago. That was
Uh,
a couple of years ago.
a couple of years ago. But I want to say that even then, you still found joy and said, I'm in this moment. He didn't show up, but in this moment, I'm still going to enjoy myself, because you came home at 1 o'clock and you still enjoyed yourself at the casino,
Right.
right? Whereas another woman would have said, okay, he didn't show up. My whole life is ruined, or I'm not going to allow my space to be coming back to this joy. Do you
But can I
see?
say something? It's almost a sense of embarrassment too, because
Mm-hmm.
my children saw me off. That's one reason why I didn't come back home, because my
Mm.
kids knew I was going somewhere. So I was just like, I just might as, but you know what? Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't even look at it from your perspective to say
Mm-hmm.
I actually still did. I didn't look at it that way. And it's crazy because I won at the casino that night, but I didn't look at it like now, looking back in that moment, I was hurt. I
Yes.
was really
Yes.
hurt, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't go and do something, but
Mm-hmm.
I did something because I couldn't have went back home to my kids when I'm like, oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
finna go on a date. I didn't want
Yes.
them to ask,
Yes.
so I just stayed away. But when I look
Mm-hmm.
at it, I did make time for me still
Mm-hmm.
in the
Mm-hmm.
moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The I would say this to you, right? And that's the thing about the perception, and that's the thing about the story, right? It's you taking that time and said, I'm still going to do something for me. I can't go home. It may have been in that moment, may have been for your children, right? Saying, oh, I can't go home. But you didn't go to a park. You didn't go sit in your car for a period of time and wallow in it for that moment, right? You still said, I'm at this place. I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to spend some time with me. Your reasoning may have been because of your children, but your actions were you identifying and you taking that power in that moment of what it was going to look like for yourself.
Wow, you are
Mm-hmm.
good. You are a good girl, and I
It's
didn't
all
realize.
about the it's all about the perception, right? What can I pull? Because when I tell that story again, I'm gonna speak from another place,
From another place.
because I'm looking at it from a different place, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the
So,
same story. It's the
it,
exact same story.
but finding the goodness in the story, not
Mm-hmm.
always looking at the bad part of the story. When you start to grow in your spirit and mature in the spirit, things are gonna look different. Like I'm not angry anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, People ask me, do you want to talk to your ex? I don't have if I ever get to talk to him again, of course. Hello, how
Mm-hmm.
are you? I'm gonna wish him well, and I still pray for him. Even though, it's just, I just love.
Yes.
Because it didn't end the way that I wanted it to end. In my growth now, I can honestly say I've accepted things to
Yeah.
be what they were. I've taken my accountability. I had choices. I
Mm-hmm.
could have left, but I decided to stay.
Yes.
So that's me holding. I can't be completely upset with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just hold myself accountable to say, April, you had choices. If there were signs that you saw, you still had choices. You stayed. And you got the
Yes.
endurance that you were supposed to do. And right now at this point, I'm really not mad, because that led me closer to God. And it got me in a better place in my relationship with him. So I thank God for that endurance. Would I change it? We in my other world, I probably would have been like, I changed. I wouldn't, but no, I wouldn't change it, because um God really showed me who I am. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so much stronger in my spirit than I've ever been. I'm not just a survivor, I'm a conqueror.
Yeah.
Because when I survive something, that means I can go back to it at any moment. But when I conquer it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see it or relive it ever.
Exactly.
I've won that,
Thriving in it.
I'm moving
Mm-hmm.
on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay. Like I forgive. I just love. Um, I'm just taking this time for me,
Yeah.
distractions come where, you get me and wanna, and I'm just, look, this is my first time taking a break for me. I could be in a relationship, but what good is that gonna do for me and the other person? I'm just gonna look for signs that I've experienced, and that's gonna be torture. So I just really prefer to heal completely to the best of my
Mm-hmm.
ability, where I can hold myself accountable in all relationships moving forward. It can be an open dialogue, open communication, pretty much, and
Mm-hmm.
um, giving each other space and time. When you are in a relationship, I advise women, don't be all under your mate. Because when you
Mm.
do that, that creates a monster. When it's
Yeah.
time, it creates, you're gonna, like little puppies, you're gonna deal with separation anxiety. When it's time
Mm-hmm.
for that person to go, let them go. You gotta,
Yes.
God, you gotta like understand that God was in signs.
Mm-hmm.
Everything
Mm-hmm.
that's done in the dark comes to light. And if it's
Mm-hmm.
not, you just gotta condition your mind to be prepared to walk away if it don't fit.
Yes.
But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not advising you to run from every situation.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you feel that it don't suits what you are in line with, it's okay
Mm-hmm.
to walk away and walk
Absolutely.
away. Don't walk away
Absolutely.
in anger, because
Mm-hmm.
that anger is going to carry to the next one. That's why I decided to take a break. I could have been in a relationship, probably I could have been married, but
Mm-hmm.
I just said I'm taking this time for me. I want to heal all around the board. And this final step is this mental thing. Overthinking.
Yes.
I'm staying in this
Yeah.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
my process.
Yes. I love that. It's all about any one of us, right? And I'm single. I could go out and find a boyfriend tomorrow. It's so many that will be interested, right? You know what I mean? So, but when you're making a decision for you, that's the empowerment, right? That's you saying, I recognize this is what I want and this is where I'm trying to go, right? And anyone that's going to attach to me, if it's sent by God, because that's who I truly believe in, He's going to fit into that puzzle. He's going to fit into that space. For myself, I look at it and I say, it's very easy for me to say, okay, I want to start dating again. I want to go out and, because I'm lonely, right? I'm a woman. But guess what? Then I need to talk to you about what's happening in my coaching. Then I need to talk to you about where I'm going with this domestic violence. I don't need surface, someone who's going to be on the surface, right? What I need is someone who's going to be my warrior, someone who's going to be my protector, someone who I can rest in, someone who I can come home to and say, this is what's happened. And as you say, I want my mind just to be at ease for a moment, right? I can't have that at surface level. I can't have it at surface
Hey.
level. And so,
Yeah.
as much as something that you said, I might have wanted that relationship to go on at one point, but God has said, that's not it. And it's because what you are going to need, where He is taking you, where He is leading you, right? That person, that individual is going to need to step in and be your support system as you're trying to hold other women up, right? And He's going to have to be at a place where He's holding other men up, where He's holding them as well, right? And so, when I look at the whole picture and I say, Lord, why? Why? I get it sometimes, and I just sit back and say, okay, because I know the person that God has for me is going to have to come in and fit what this pillar that he's building in me right now, he's going to have to be able to hold that as well. Right. And if he can't hold it, if he can hold it, God is not the God of confusion. And
Oh,
so if I can't communicate with you about where it is, what this journey is doing to me, or why I'm even on this journey, then maybe we shouldn't be on the journey together. Right?
amen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it for part 2 with Miss Coach La. It was fantastic talking with you, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure we'll talk more. I'm
Yes.
glad I got my passport because I might be coming to the UK soon. Um,
Listen,
oh,
I've never been to Texas. I don't like to fly, although I flew way over here from Bermuda and I have family that are in the States. And God keeps telling me, you keep saying that, but it's a faith walk that we're on, right? We just need to just go ahead and do it. And I keep connecting with people that are so far away. So listen, you'll be over here and I'll be over there at some point in time, because we are making a divine connection, not just for surface over the internet. I do believe that.
I do believe that as well. I know God showed me that I'll be traveling around,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just shown me so much, and I'm just ready for it. So this mental
Yes.
part, I know it's not the last part, but it's the grand finale of who he is trying to show me I am. Once this part is all together and I get it, I'll really, really, I've completed the assignment for,
Yes.
in this moment. But I just know that we're gonna connect. I just feel it in my spirit. I really appreciate you taking time up to give me your time and to give me a part 2, because women need to hear from you.
Yeah.
Um, I believe you have so much to do. You have a lot of work to do, and God is positioning you to do so. You don't know how much you helped me in this small discussion that we had. It's small to some, but it's big to me because
Mm-hmm.
I can resonate to all of everything that you've shared.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you all would like to follow Coach La, her information will be listed up here. I ask that you all subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, hit like, share, and comment. And if you know someone who's struggling with mental health, of course, we say get help immediately. But if
Yes.
you know someone that just needs a safe place to talk in the UK or here in the United States, we vibe together. Maybe we'll do like a group,
Yep.
online service where
Mm-hmm.
we just do it together here and there. But if you're struggling and you just want to talk to someone, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, Miss Coach La information will be here. You can also reach us at www.holyhealingchronicles.org. Don't forget, we are here for you. This platform is not just for me, it's for everyone who has a ministry, a testimony, or someone that just wants to release and share what God has done in
Yes.
their lives. If you would like, you can also click the link to donate for the cause so that we can do more things for people that's struggling with mental health, do our groups, things of that nature. But if you have any questions, again, leave comments below. We'll be gladly to answer. Until next time, we are signing off. Stay jolly, stay happy, and stay safe. Love you all.